Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. So today I actually wanted to create a video on the importance of heart and mind coherence. Now, this is so crucial for you, especially after an awakening. So first off, in case you don't know what heart and mind coherence is, it's really your ability to be able to use your heart space and your mind together coherently so that you can make decisions while these two are in sync with each other. Now, why this is so important after a spiritual awakening is really because a spiritual awakening gives you that little reset that we need in order to be able to think and operate differently. So, prior to an awakening, you may be running from, your task to task. Your day to day looks very similar because you are operating heavily from your mind, which is, based on past experiences and memories. And so that gives you very little ability to be able to create new things. So technically, before an awakening, if you are stuck in the mind, you are most likely operating in survival mode and just trying to get by through the day, knowing what your routine looks like, and just repeating that same sense of routine over and over again. Now, when you operate from your heart space, and really you have this ability once you get this little reset that we get during an awakening, is you're able to then start to feel more from your heart and think about and make decisions that are not so limited in scope. Remember that your mind actually is very limited in what it can focus on. It is based on and thinks about time and space in a very narrow way, like I said, based on past experiences. And so, the ability to think about the unknown, visualizing something new for yourself is usually difficult with the mind. Versus when you can think about and really feel from the heart, you can start to tap into, being a creator, thinking about new things for yourself, and really being able to operate from the unknown. And, that's your limitless potential, and that is focused around your heart space. Now, the reason why I really wanted to make this video is because after my awakening, and particularly after my dark night of the soul phase, I was struggling with being able to feel again. We know that a dark night of the soul phase can really get you to feel lost. Almost you can't make sense of time and where you are, what you're doing, and why you're doing it, right? You start to question life and everything feels so meaningless. So while you're in this phase and everything starts to feel so useless to you, it's really hard to get back that drive, that motivation, and also the ability to feel at times. Now, this is going to look different for everybody, but for me, I couldn't really make sense of how I felt after my awakening. Not only was I stuck in a dark space, but I felt very, very numb. Didn't feel like I was passionate about anything. So to be able to lift yourself out of there, you kind of need to start focusing on the coherence of your heart and mind to be in sync with each other so you can find purpose again and start moving in that direction. Now, in case you're wondering, how do you get your heart to be more coherent with your mind? And really the answer to that is meditation. But one of the most powerful ways to do this in meditation is by focusing on your breath. When you focus on your breath, you actually are able to center yourself in your heart space, and that kind of quiets your mind down a little bit more. So, when you are focusing on just breathing, it eliminates your ability to think, and it allows you to be very, very present. The more you are present in your heart space, it becomes easier and you can start to feel again. Now, this is not an overnight process. It will take some time, of course, and of course, it does vary for everyone. However, the more you practice it, the easier the process will become for you, and it'll almost start to revive you once again, coming out of your dark night of the soul. Now, the other important thing to note is that when we actually focus in our heart space and we start to think about life from that heart center, we have a totally different perspective, much broader view about what's possible based on our limitless potential, which is really what you're tapping into as you go through an awakening, right? You want to be able to relive life in a way that is not the same as what you were doing before, right? Not operating from the mind, not operating in the sense of limitations of time. And so really this pause is the best thing that can happen to you. However, to pull yourself out of it effectively, this is absolutely a great, great technique. Now, it's also important to note that when you start to feel more from the heart, you can actually tell the mind that you are now creating a new way of living, and this is how you're going to make decisions moving forward. And that is when the mind is able to sync up with the heart's ability to operate in this manner, and then they are working in unison with each other versus, as I mentioned previously, you being just in your mind. So this is a very, very important thing to kind of, apply as you're coming out of your dark night of the soul. And again, remember, you could be going through multiple dark nights of the soul throughout your awakening process. So, if you find yourself here multiple times, just center yourself back into your heart space, and that's how you'll be able to move forward successfully. Just last thing, when you are stuck in this really dark phase and everything seems lost and hopeless, just remember that you are about to tap into one of your most creative ways of being. At the end of the day, you are not meant to live in survival mode. You are here to live your best life, and operating from the heart space will put you into that creator mode. That is where you want to be in order to create whatever you want, however you want, as you come out of this phase, so you can live your best life. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this was helpful. God bless.